味ない楽譜通りじゃ物足りないんだよノイズすらも取り込んで自分だけのセッションを人任せじゃ変わらないし
Hello there! It would seem that for this video I have evolved into a Liskmon. I don't know why I would have done that. Anyway, this is the Digital Tamers Tube mid-game guide. Now, this guide's going to be a little bit different, as I will be kind of obscuring some information that I don't feel is necessary. Regardless, the level range you're going to want to be is around 30 to 75/100. That 100 has an asterisk because it'll make sense later in the video. But other than that, it should be a pretty easy run through. We're going to be covering up to A Good Friend Part 1. Now we just have to clean up Login Village. First, we're going to start with Waymon. Waymon can be found in the Clear Oasis, and he's the second foraging tutorial in this game. Just like Piamon, you'll have to click on a ripple in the water and report back to him once you do. There, he'll open Big W's Exploratory Dive, which will find a bunch of water-related items like fish and, well, other types of liquid. He does fit in a very weird place, though. You'll see what I mean in a minute. I don't know how his big self fits in the river. Next, we're going to take a quick detour to start a two-parter quest. Go back to the Village of Beginnings to find Chibimon passed out just above Togemon and talk to him. He'll only spawn if you've beaten the Baby Boss Challenge, which you should have seen a little medallion in the corner. That is what the challenge medal looks like, so that's how you know you've beat it, besides just saying done. Anyway, Chibimon will ask you for a bandage, which you can purchase from Monochromon, and once you do, he'll ask you to find his friend Minomon for him. But we can't get to Minomon quite yet. For now, purchase a healing syrup and hold on to it. You can find healing syrups from Cutemon. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break to grind now. So this section of the video is just to remind you who you should have probably faced by now. You can check my last video to see their levels and everything. We'll start the new areas off with the easiest, Southbridge Valley. Aquilamon here is only at level 18, so he should be a cakewalk. Aquilamon is an adult level, unknown and wind Digimon with the ability Sky Ace. Sky Ace lets Aquilamon always fly forward instead of jumping when they're at high HP. Their attacks are a melee and a ranged. After unlocking Southbridge Valley, you'll meet Gomamon. He'll tell you that he dropped his golden bananas all over the ground after falling mid-swing. And yes, they're all in Southbridge Valley, they're not the same golden bananas in Boo Jungle. He'll ask you to collect them all. Remember, you need to do this all in one go, or else, just like Betamon, it'll reset. There are 5 in total. The first is stuck on a signpost. The second is behind a white vending machine. The third one is behind a destroyed tree under Gomamon. The fourth one is behind a tall rock behind Deatrimon. Bleh. And the fifth one is stuck in a cactus. After you return all 5 to Koemon, he will give you 3 amplification boosters, and become a wandering merchant who sells them. There are 3 grades of these, and you can use them to improve the EXP gain that you get with your Digimon when doing fights in the overworld. I use these a lot. Now we're going to be going to the Jagged Rocks to go challenge Geogreymon, who give us access to Sizzling Desert. They are at level 26, and are an adult, vaccine and fire Digimon with the ability Primal Rage, which increases their attacks slightly after they received a critical hit. Their attacks are a melee and a ranged. We're also here to collect your Mojimon. The poor guy's dying of thirst and currently starving at the moment, so he'll ask you for a bottle of Digiwater and a deluxe mushroom. Digiwater can be found either by asking Waymon to dive, or picking at ripples in Clear Oasis, Wave Coast, and Pallet Amazon. We'll come back later since we don't have access to where we can get a deluxe mushroom. The next area we have to go to is Wave Coast. You should find Gomamon hanging on the other side of the map, so just challenge the squid to a duel and turn him into calamari. He is a level 30 adult virus and water Digimon with the ability Hidden Away. This means he'll run away from enemies that are too close when they have high HP. His running away is also counted as an attack, so be careful. His main attacks are a combo and a pulverizer. Now to retrieve a deluxe mushroom. First, we need to unlock Slippery Swamp, but Tono-sama Geckomon will not make it easy for us. Tono-sama Geckomon is a perfect virus and water Digimon with the ability Slippery Skin. This occasionally recovers a small amount of HP when they're in the swampy field, which you're not fighting in. Their attacks are a melee and a multi-shot. So is Commandamon just hiring anybody he can find off the street? Cause this is atrocious. Now you can head into the slippery swamp, and really all you have to do is sit and wait. Mushroom piles will start appearing, and if you click on them, they can have a multiple different kinds of mushrooms just show up. Now you just have to wait here until you actually pick up a deluxe mushroom from these piles, but once you do, head back to Dromojimon and deliver him the water and the deluxe mushroom. He'll join Server City as again another merchant who gets you materials. But these materials are a little different. They cost more and are more likely to be equipment. Personally, I think it's a scam because these are like 5,000 bits for what you can find in a D dungeon, but what do I know? You are no better of a capitalist pig, a scammer, than the man who wears your face with a twirly mustache. From here, you can do the bosses in just about any order you like, but I'm just going to go off my script. So we're going to start with Pangeamon and Snowland. If this info card looks familiar to you, it's because Pangeamon is literally just an ice-type clone of regular Leomon, so if you understand how to beat Leomon, Pangeamon is just absolute fodder. Next up, we're going to head down to Sewer Road to go face Megadramon. Megadramon is a perfect Virus and Wind Digimon with the ability Super Virus. This nullifies its own weakness to the vaccine attribute, meaning you're effectively just working with its elemental type, unless your partner is unknown like mine. Their attacks are a melee and a multi-shot. Now we're going to head down to Boot Jungle to unlock the Chrome Mind and face possibly the worst boss ever conceived. This is Phantomon. They are perfect, virus, pitch black, and have the ability Incorporeal Soul. This means they might avoid physical attacks by becoming incorporeal. They are a melee and a ranged attacker. This absolutely sucks if you have a dual melee, so please have a partner with ranged on before you fight this thing. It'll save you a lot of trouble. Hope you kept that healing syrup on you, because now we can actually put it to use. First, head to Southbridge Valley and look up to find Megalogramon. They'll be at level 45, as well as all the other bosses from here on out. Megalogramon is a perfect Virus and Fire Digimon with the ability War Instinct. This increases their movement and attack speed when their HP drops below half, but it drastically decreases their jumping ability. Their attacks are a melee and a multi-shot. Once you get an access to Magma Mountain, you should find Minomon sitting there on a cliff. Or, well, laying there because he's dying. Once you give Minomon the healing syrup, they will go to Login Village, where they'll reunite with Shibimon. I actually have some bonus content relating to these two at the end of this video. So please just wait for that. I think you'll like it. Now you're going to go down to Wave Coast and head all the way to the bottom of the map where you can find V.1.1.3. They're level 30 and they will challenge you to a battle. They are a vaccine and wind adult level Digimon with the ability V for Victory. This increases their own attack according to the amount of accumulated victories, but this is an ability that only applies to the player. Their techniques are a melee and a ranged attack. After beating Vidramon, he'll head off to Login Village. He doesn't really do anything, he's just a number to have there. But since we're here, we're also going to challenge Anomalak. Excuse me for 1 minute.
Anomalocaris. Anomalocarimon.
Right, so fun fact about this. Anomalocarimon actually got localized to Scorpiomon in English. So later when we had the actual Scorpiomon, they realized they couldn't have a dual name and that would confuse people, so they had to change it to Skull Scorpiomon. The two actually have zero relationship to each other. In fact, Anomalocarimon isn't even a scorpion. What he is, however, is a perfect data and water Digimon with the ability Sharp Edge. This damages opponents who make direct contact with him while he's blocking. Their attacks are a melee and a ranged. Wow. Humble for a boomer, aren't you, buddy? We are going back to Boot Jungle once again to go face Jurimon. Jurimon, or Cherrymon if you had the English dub as a kid, is a perfect virus and wood Digimon with the ability Natural Absorption. When in Natural Field, this Digimon heals a small percentage of HP when it lands a critical hit. You're not in Natural Field, don't worry about this. Their S1 is a combo and their S2 is a bomb, which S stands for special. Now we're going to go to Sizzling Desert. When we head up to the top of the map, we will find Buffy the Vampire Slayer herself, Angelomon. Angelomon is a perfect level vaccine and light Digimon with the ability Divine Presence. This decreases the attack and special attack of opponents who are Pitch Black Element and or Dark Species. Her first attack is a Pulverizer and her second one is a Ranged. Our last big stop for areas is going to be Drive Savannah. You can find Master Tyrannomon hidden down below in Jagged Rocks. he'll challenge you to a fight, and this will be the last fight you'll have to do with the trolley bosses. Master Tyrannomon is a perfect level vaccine and fire Digimon with the ability Mastery. It increases its own defense according to the amount of accumulated victories. Their S1 is a melee, and their S2 is a pulverizer. I bet you have no idea who this Digimon is unless you played video games from way back in the day, or if you read Liberator. Now it's time to cover the first part of the A Good Friend questline. I will not be giving as much commentary on the actual statistics of the Digimon until around when we unlock Silver City, as that one's the most different. Otherwise, all you need to know is that the Black Agumon and Black slash Blue Greymon, I don't know which one you guys call it, those two are basically just juiced up, super big versions of the wild enemies. Black Agumon will probably hit closer to that of an adult level, and Blue Greymon is probably going to hit closer to that of a perfect level. So keep that in mind when you're evolving your partner to progress through the story. I will let you know when the game expects you to be at a certain level. The first area is the Village of Beginnings. You have to have recruited Digimon and have defeated at least 25 Digimon and have nothing else to do in that place. Blue Jungle is next at 50 Digimon defeated. Clear Oasis is at 100 Digimon defeated and have recruited Koromon. And then Jagged Rocks is 150 Digimon defeated and having recruited Veedramon. All of these are just basically Koromon watching you, wanting to be like you, but he's not going to say hello yet. Also, from this point on, I recorded some of these with audio, so let me know in the comments how this sounds and if you want me to record with audio on more often. I usually don't do it because the game's kind of loud for me. Dynaplanes is next, and they'll spawn once 200 or more Digimon have been defeated, and you have recruited Betamon. In Dynaplanes, you two finally meet properly for the first time, and Koromon becomes so excited at the prospect of becoming your friend, he digivolves into Black Agumon, before challenging you to a battle. From here on out, no more commentary, you get to just read it for yourself.
Holy shit, you fucking killed her, dude!
After you first fight Agumon at Dynaplanes for the first time, his house will become available for you to visit. I would recommend coming here before he ultimately vanishes, as if you talk to him enough, he'll give you 2 acrid fruits, which might come in handy later. Pretty nice gift. Your second encounter is going to happen in Boot Jungle after you have 300 or more Digimon defeated, where once again, Black Agumon is going to challenge you to a rematch. He's a little bit stronger this time at a level jump, but ultimately he's still kind of a pushover. With 350 or more Digimon defeated, Black Agumon is going to spawn in Sizzling Desert. He again challenges you to a rematch where he again just has a noticeable level jump. This is where you're starting to expect to be in the perfect level because the next boss is going to hit on that range. Anyway, he'll challenge you to his rematch and of course, you mop the floor with him, but he's actually a bit more upset this time and decides he needs some time alone. You can go check on him if you want to by visiting his house again, but I fear you're going to be very disappointed. Once you've done that, you can head over to Login Village where some of the inhabitants will give testimony that they've seen a rather abnormally large Digimon training his heart away day and night. He doesn't really eat, he doesn't really sleep. All he does is punch trees. Wonder what that's all about. After you have around 400 or more Digimon defeated, head down to Sewer Road. You'll see a giant blue Greymon was waiting for you, and he calls you his old friend. It's the same Black Agumon you used to know, but he's so much different now. He's mean, he's cold, and all he cares about is winning. Well, if he wants a fight, looks like you're going to have to give it to him, even if he's no longer the same person you once knew. After another humiliating defeat, Blue Greymon stomps his foot furiously. All of that training has gone for nothing. He still can't win. He wants nothing to do with you anymore. But then he has an epiphany. If he wants to get stronger, there could be one more place he could go to. One place that could finally make him more powerful than you once and for all. After your confrontation, you can head back to Login Village. The residents once again give testimony that they have seen this giant blue Greymon stomping about. Monochromon had to avoid getting crushed, Palmon and Tanamon are both terrified for their safety, and Pielmon proclaims that she saw them going to Mecha Plant and getting roughed up by some of the mechanical Digimon that she sees there. So, what happens when we go to Mecha Plant, you ask? Unfortunately, with the footage, some of this was recorded where there wasn't anyone there, so you just literally have to go here, see nothing, and continue. According to Rod, this was just kind of an oversight in the script, and there was supposed to be someone there who was currently dying who would explain that Blue Greymon mechanized himself, and he said that he would have probably updated it and stopped procrastinating, his words, not mine, for the next update, which you'll also see in some of this footage. But otherwise, yeah, you just kind of have to come here and go back to Login Village. Hina and Digimon will both tell you that something terrible is happening in Server City. A large Digimon has gone on an entire rampage, scaring off many residents and killing off many others who try to fight it. Desperately, Hina pleads with you to come to Server City and marks it on your map. So, let's go over there to see exactly what's going on. Can't be that bad, right? Okay, a little worse than I thought. City's kind of in ruins, but it's fine. We've taken down pretty strong Digimon before. This is nothing to worry about. So, let's just see who...
Okay, we are cooked. Yeah, we are absolutely cooked, chat. GG.
I think we're gonna have to kill this guy, Somni.
Damn. Thanks to a friend of the channel, Rackstore, owner of Grinosaur Wiki, I asked him to go look through the code for me to find this info, so everybody thank him. We now know that Middle Greymon Boss doesn't really play by the rules. Not only is he hitting in Mega/Ultimate levels of power, he also does not have an ability, but in exchange gets 4 different attacks. 2 of these are melee, and 1 of these is a multi-shot, and another one's a pulverizer. I only could get footage of the multi-shot and the pulverizer attacks here, and I tried to stall it out to show you all of them, but just so you know, this guy is hitting you with 4 attacks with the same strength as like your average ultimate level Digimon. That's why this game asked you to get to that level. It can be done with a regular perfect level, and people have even done it with adult levels like Aquilamon, but it is just recommended you be fully evolved at this point. Metal Greymon finally calmed down. Greymon Blue, your old friend, finally comes out with shame. He is horrified at all the things he's done. He just wanted to become stronger. He looked up to you, but that admiration soon turned to envy. And that envy soon became an ambition that couldn't be quenched until he stomped you out, hurting anyone who got in his way. He doesn't know if you'll be able to look at him the same, if you even want to still be his friend. But afterwards, he leaves, sad and thinking that forever your friendship was torn apart. Afterwards, you go to Hina, and she offers a bit of comforting words. She said that she feels bad for you, but if she may ask, she has one more favor to ask you. She wants to rebuild her home, Silver City, and look for any survivors who may be willing to come back. This ends off the A Good Friend Part 1 questline and starts a whole new questline of rebuilding Silver City, where you'll get access to some pretty vital services. Now we're going to head towards the end of this video. This part will mostly cover Silver City up to about when late game starts. I won't be talking about any of the dungeons, those are going to happen in the next video. But first, we're going to be talking about the last bit of bonus content from Login Village, which happens after you beat Digimental Go. If you beat this challenge, Chibimon will have evolved into Vmon, and he and Minomon will start a little shop. This shop will give you the armored Digimentals as equipment. There are two kinds. The first kind you can just put on and it works like the spirits you get from the spirit cards. The second one you can equip to actually permanently evolve into them. So keep that in mind. Actually starting Silver City, we're going to be talking to Groundramon, who's first found in Jagged Rocks. He asks if the giant Digimon attacking the city has gone yet, and when you confirm his suspicions, he says he'll be willing to go there to help clean up the mess, but he has a job to finish first. This job can be found in Mega Plant, and after you talk to him there a second time, he'll finally go to Silver City, where you can pay him to clear debris. This debris clearing is basically going to be essential to getting more new people. The more debris cleared, the more people you can hire. New Sage or Mojimon literally just spawns after you've cleared at least one debris or something. I don't know. He just spawns eventually. So I'm not even going to talk about him because this shop is basically useless. Purimon is next. He'll spawn in the village of beginnings if you have an adult level or higher Digimon with equipment on, and have beaten the Dungeon Dweller challenge, so he'll talk to you. Once you do, he'll just ask you what a D dungeon is, and he'll unlock the Petite domain for you. You're gonna need him basically to access the rest of the story's progression, so we're gonna get into D dungeons much later in like the late game video, but for now, just keep it in mind. Sukamon is next, and he'll ask you for 5 Digistock. You can find Digistock in Slippery Swamp or Magma Mountain by clicking on mushroom piles. Once you give him all 5, he'll challenge you to a battle. I'm not putting on his battle card. No, just watch the footage. Literally all Sukamon sells is a toilet seat that cleans up the entire screen of poop, and if you're on top of it, it really shouldn't be something you need to purchase, so he's kind of just there to fill a number. The next person we're going to meet is Chimeramon. You'll find them down in the Chrome Mines, and they're stomping about and being all scary and evil, and he'll challenge you to a fight. I won't put up a boss card because you're not supposed to fight him. I repeat, do not fight Chimeramon. I know it tells you he's level 50, you're not supposed to. But once you do, he'll calm down and say that actually, he's not even all that bad of a guy. People just treat him as a monster for no reason. What he really wants to do is settle down somewhere where he feels like he can belong. You recommend him to go to Silver City, and he goes there happily, setting up a shop which is mostly meant to also be for hunting equipment, but can be used for a couple other things. But those will probably require a video all to themselves, so I won't cover it here. God fucking damn it, they make Chimeramon so adorable. How can I not love him? Chikurimon's next, and he's a little bit of a weird guy. So he finds these bombs hiding down in chrome mines, and he really wants to blow them up. So he asks you to bring a partner who has a regular torch equipped. Specifically, you need to have it equipped on you, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. But once you have a partner with the regular torch equipped, you'll head back down to see Chikurimon, and you'll learn that those things are duds. He very frustratedly decides, might as well go to Silver City, where he immediately gets upset that he can't blow up Hina's house. You know what? I'll give you $15 if you can guess what Chikurimon sells. Afterwards, you can head to Link Ruins to go talk to Kudamon, who's hiding around the bottom of the map just across from Geogreymon. They're currently injured and require a spare bandage. This is not the same thing as the bandages you get from Monochromon that you used on Chibimon earlier. This is something you need to buy from Cutemon or Medicmon, but probably Cutemon because you don't have Medicmon yet if you're watching this video. Either way, once you give it to him, he'll head to Server City, where his services are telling you your partner's favorite and least favorite foods, which help you raise friendship just a little bit faster. Once you've beaten the Dark Subspecies Challenge, head to Southbridge Valley where you'll find Blacktailmon just hanging around, just above where you would talk to Gogmamon. She's surprised that you managed to beat her and her boys, and she decides to offer you a very special service in Server City. This special service is her selling you Black Digitron, which annoyingly she will only sell you one at a time. I don't know why Rod decided that you can't buy it in bulk, because its only two purposes are being a minor defensive boost and being an evolutionary item for a few Digimon. So I don't know why he makes you buy it one at a time. I think it's redundant. Seadramon will spawn in Wave Coast once you've caught around 100 fish. You can go to Betamon and Login Villas to check how many fish you've caught. Once you get there, he'll tell you that he's trying to open a fishmonger, but he has not enough stock to do it, so you need to help him out. He'll ask you to turn in one Digitilapia, a Digicarp, and one Black Digitrout. You can find Black Digitrout via lures or going to the net ocean, but the other two basically require you to purchase lures from Sangomon. So, once you get all three of those, he'll finally head to Server City. This allows us to move on to Sangomon, who is just an overworld shop spawn, so wait for him to come around, and if you have Seadramon hired, he should be able to join Server City as a proper merchant. I completely blinked for a second there. Gomamon will spawn in the overworld, and once you talk to him, he'll discuss opening a much bigger Scarlet Emporium in Server City. But once you get there, he has a request for you. He needs some Digi Hardwood, and if you get it to him, he'll give you some bits in exchange. Now, on the footage I have, he required 50 Digi Hardwood, but since then it has been nerfed, but he will give you less money. You should see around this point when that nerf took place and how much that nerf is now. I believe it's 25. Craftmon can be found at Megaplant, but will only talk to you if you completed the Gabumon Triplets quest and have at least 5 city recruits. Once you get there, he explains that a Psychmon asked him to do a job, but cheated him out of the cash, and he wants you to go shake them down for him. The Psychmon can be found hiding above where you first spawn into Server City, just around the left side of the map where you can find the trolley. He'll challenge you to a fight as he's not willing to pay so easily. Once Craftmon finally joins Silver City, his carpentry and wood workshop will let you trade in cheaper materials for more valuable ones, which will be very helpful in upgrades. Wait, there's upgrades, you ask? Stay tuned for the late game guide. Once you run into Shortmon, you can talk to the merchant and he'll tell you that they used to run a bakery there, but it had been destroyed in the chaos. But he wants to go back and open it back up again. He'll ask you to go find Weddingmon for him. Weddingmon can be found in the Village Beginnings, where she's a bit hesitant to come back, but when she learns that everything's finally said and done, she's willing to come back and rebuild her shop. They ask you for 25 digiwood and 15 digistone. You don't really have to go to this place a lot because it's just lures that lower your natural power. So if you're into the metagame, you might want to avoid this place. If you're not, it could be useful for collection. Maramon is next, and you'll have to beat both Fire Mastery 1 and 2 to challenge him. He'll be found at Magma Mountain, and he'll ask you for a battle to spice him up his life so he can get inspiration again. He's at level 40, and you can see his information card here. Once you beat him in a fight, you'll head off to Silver City and start up a cooking adventure in a restaurant. But he needs materials to do it, and he'll ask you for 30 digi boulders. These next two are required to have Maramon's shop built to get anything done, because you're going to need either a material from there, or you just need Maramon there in the first place. Starting with the Burgermon, they require a special secret ingredient for their burgers, and their hint is that you need to look at their head. This hint means that they're asking you for squeezed onion juice. I'll put it up here so you can see the crafting recipe. Once you deliver the squeezed onion juice, they'll head to Silver City, where they'll offer you special burgers that you can use to increase friendship or EXP. However, like always, they'll need materials to do it. Not everyone's gonna need materials, but just so you know, some of the more high value shops probably will. Zichuimon is next, and yes, that took me forever to learn how to pronounce. He'll talk to you once you've beaten Bird in Aquatic Challenge 3, but he'll only actually talk to you if you have a bird or aquatic partner in your active partner slot. Once you do, he'll be surprised to hear that Maramon's in town and is very fired up to go prove who's the better chef. He'll go join Maramon on their joint cooking adventure, but according to him, he's only there to just prove a point. Mushmon will spawn in the Slippery Swamp after you've beaten the Breath Data Rewrite Challenge. He'll ask you to get him 5 deluxe mushrooms, but we already know how to collect those from the Gomamon quest. Once you deliver them, he'll head to Server City, where he'll explain that if you give him a catalyst mushroom and specific elementally charged mushrooms, he'll create a unique kind of mushroom that can add a special attack modifier to your Digimon. This allows you to apply multiple different status effects on their attacks. It's pretty good for making some builds. Maybe I'll do a video on it in the future. Wizardmon will appear in the Village Beginnings after you've beaten the Maidlet Data Rewrite Challenge. He's basically the same thing as Mushmon, but for physical attacks, and you need an empty orb and scrap data to do it. Anyway, he'll have to jump around the digital world to collect data on the elements. You'll first see him at the Village of Beginnings, and then he'll move to Magma Mountain, then Mecha Plant, then the Snowlands, then the Slippery Swamp, and then you can finally talk to him fully in Dyna Plains, where he'll finally head to Server City. If that went a little bit too fast for you, just go back in the video and rewatch it so you can see every area he spawns in. Pyildramon should show up at Wave Coast and finally talk to you if you have V.Dramon, 8 Digimon in Login Village, 300 defeated enemies, and 18 Digimon in Server City. He'll ask you if you're willing to learn the power of Digicross and Jogress, but he won't hand it over so easily. You'll have to beat him in a battle with a special stipulation that you have very low HP once the battle starts. He is at level 55, but he shouldn't be too difficult, and his info card should appear on the screen right about now. I actually beat this guy using Goliath Ring Lucimon, so here's some footage of me doing that. Before anything, Ludamon and Zubamon need Kuwagamon's shop built, so make sure you have that built. You'll find Ludamon in Dyna Plains, where he's basically butt naked and terrified. Apparently, someone stole his armor, and we need to go get it back. Head to Link Ruins, where you should find Zubamon hiding out there, where he admits it was just a prank, and he didn't mean to make Ludamon feel bad, but he didn't have the courage to go apologize, But with a bit of encouragement, you send Zubamon off to go apologize to his brother, and they'll open an equipment shop for you. Next up is Citramon, and he'll be found in Login Village, moping somewhat about Red Vegemon's terrible fruit stand. He talks to the player and says that if you want good quality products, you should meet him in Silver City, where he'll offer to sell you some stuff. This really only has much of a use if you're into the meta or play Reborn. Otherwise, you'll probably end up just kind of leaving this one alone. Either way, this guy will ask you for materials, so just make sure you're having your timber strike logging and bedrock quarries going off frequently so you can get the materials you need. Or do some D-dungeon hunting, that's good too. Ramon, aka Dr. Crow, is a burnt-out artist you can find in Silver City. He's moping around an empty patch of grass. If you want him to build a statue for you, you have to listen to what he has to say. He mentioned one time seeing a bright red dragon, aka Gomamon, soaring through the sky, and if he could get a glimpse of it or one of its evolutionary members, he might have inspiration again. This is obvious. All you need to do is show him a member of the Gomamon family. I use Wingdramon here, but it should work with just about any member that you can take out into the digital world. Beautymon is next, and you need to have beaten Dark Challenge 3, Holy Challenge 3, and the Good Omens Challenge. You'll find her with Lady Devimon hanging around at Clear Oasis, where they bully you and your partner relentlessly. The two are surprised, though, when you agree to challenge Lady Devimon to a battle. You should see her information card popping up pretty soon. I actually love these two as characters, and will be glad to yap about them. After beating Lady Devimon, Beautymon sighs and admits the jig is up. It turns out these two actually aren't all that mean. But what would set them up to be so mean for no reason if they aren't happy doing it? Well, we quickly find our answer when they confess that they were just following the orders of an Angelomon, which sounds weird. Let's head to Link Ruins just to see what's going on. Once you get there, you should find an Angelomon leader hanging around near the ruined temple. She is laughing her head off about how easy those two were to manipulate because of their desperation. They just wanted to be popular. But in her mind, a dark species Digimon, one only prone to evil, and of Atmon, who aren't even real Digimon in her eyes, are just incapable of having people like them. So she decided to just put them in a failing situation. Well, Digi-racism. I didn't think I would be seeing that on the timeline today. Anyway, Lady Devimon confronts her, and Beautymon sighs, apologizing once again for their behavior, and opens up the beauty salon. You can get skins from doing quests around the world, and once you do, you can put them onto the matching Digimon in the beauty salon. For free! Bubblemon is next, and you'll find him down in Sewer Road. He's over there on the internet spreading misinformation. You know, like ChatGPT. Anyway, once you catch him, he'll email that you are a wanted criminal who's trying to attack him. And this calls over a Parrotmon who's looking very excited to get some crackers and loot. I'll show you his information card soon. After you eat Parrotmon, the truth comes out and Publimon finally faces some real consequences. He runs off to Server City and swears on his heart that he has learned his lesson. Well, he'll sell you unique items for the human world. Keep his shop in mind, you're gonna need it later. Next is Medicmon. Medicmon can be found in Drive Savannah, and this is the part of the game where things get dire. You're put on a 2-hour in real time limit, and you need to get a couple of things to save Triceramon's life. At this point, this is the only NPC who can actually die and not join Server City. In order to cure Triceramon, you're going to need a Froggy Thermometer, which you can purchase from Publimon, 20 Digi-Herbs, which can be foraged around in the grass, and a Rainbow Soup. I will have the places you can find them all up on screen sooner or later, but I would recommend finding all of these things first before doing this quest, unless you know you can get it done really fast. That 2-hour limit will catch up to you quick. Either way, once Triceramon lives or dies, Medicmon should go to Server City where he'll open up a hospital. This is where you can purchase special health items from Aidmon. Sunflowmon is next, and she'll be found down in the Chrome Mines, right next to where Chrome Domain will be. We'll talk about Chrome Domain in the next video centered around the late game in the D dungeons. Either way, she's having a bit of a temper tantrum, so she asks you to have a battle so she can calm herself down. Once you calm down Sunflowmon, she'll head to Server City, where you can pay her some bits in order for her to increase your Digimon's patience level. A patience level is basically how many pets your Digimon is willing to accept before it gets annoyed after every battle. Elecmon Violet is next, and he'll spawn and talk to you once you have beaten the Song of Sorrow and Insect Challenge 3. He wants a special rare item that is a giant black pearl that can only be harvested from perfect level Shakomon. But perfect level Shakomon don't exist, do they? Well, apparently, one does. First, head down to Ned Ocean, and you should find a really big Shakomon just hiding around in the corner of the map. He'll talk to you, and you can tell him that you want a giant black pearl. He'll happily give it to you, as he personally doesn't see it as very rare, but if it makes someone else happy, he'll gladly oblige. You'll then be able to find a special location on your map where you can talk to this guy. He'll give you a bit of lore about the world, or another giant black pearl after a certain amount of time. Anyway, return to Elecmon Violet and he'll open up a shop where he'll sell you exotic items. Purchase some Digi Oil. You'll need about 20 of these for another quest, and it'll be much easier than trying to farm it off the Geckomon family, trust me. Gogmamon can be found in Southbridge Valley, and he'll ask you if you ever wondered why there's so many dirty rocks and what could be used to clean them. Basically, all he wants is a tiny toothbrush, which you can buy from Monochromon. If you bring Gogmamon tiny toothbrushes, where he hangs out near Groundamon, he'll clean up any special EXP gems that you found in like Magma Mountain or D Dungeons. Basically, he's a free XP farm. Angemon can be found in Link Ruins, and he embarrassingly admits that the reason he's currently missing his holy rod and feels so naked right now was because he somehow, someway, broke it during a limbo competition during a party. Alright, so the protectors of the digital world are just doing whatever, okay. Anyway, he asks you to go fetch him another holy rod. Holy rods can be farmed from, well, Digimon who are holding a holy rod. So once you get one, just hand one back to Angemon, and he'll go to Silver City where he'll sell you other holy items. But man, just just hearing how he lost his holy rod just totally it totally wiped my mind of what I was gonna say. It's so baffling. Metal Tyrannomon, lovingly called by me Big Mama T, can be found in dry savanna. She'll only challenge you to a battle if she sees you're strong enough, aka your partner's been fully trained up. Anyway, her information card should be coming up pretty soon, but after you beat her, she'll open up a Digiclone shop, where you, of course, can buy Digiclones instead of having to farm them off wild Digimon. It's pretty useful, but I do have to admit she does quickly get outclassed for training later in the recruitment line. Actually, right next in this recruitment line. Bulkmon appears in Login Village after recruiting Citramon and Metal Tyrannomon, as long as you have the Master Trainer skill unlocked. So go ahead and check if you have that, otherwise he won't spawn. Anyway, once you get there, he mentions that he wants his muscles to look really nice, but is currently in a bit of a worried frenzy as he has nothing to do it with. You see, if you want to look shiny and stunting when you're this bulky, you need to oil yourself up. Okay. Sure, dude, whatever. Anyway, this is what the 20 frog oil was for. Just hand that to him and he'll go to Server City. He'll open up a gym there. The gym does have an actual purpose. You get a 10 times multiplier for your training there, and later on, this gym will be upgraded so you can train even stronger Digimon with uncapped HP. But again, that is for the late game video. That is for when we talk about D dungeons, so don't worry about it just yet. After recruiting Bulkmon, head back to Link Ruins to talk to Musclemon. Musclemon is a collector of sorts. He collects a bunch of different types of evolution items, but he's missing one thing: an accelerator. I'll show you what an accelerator looks like in a minute, but you can mostly farm this from stuff like cards. Anyway, once you give it to him, he'll head over to Server City. He is a bit unique as he will tell you your Digimon's natural power. It's kind of vague, but essentially he'll just tell you how good or bad your Digimon's natural power is. You can influence natural power in a couple of different ways, but those are meant to be saved for the late game guide. Venom Bombdemon should spawn for you after you've gotten vaccine, data, and virus annihilators completed. Once you do, he'll talk to you and offer you a deal. If you can beat him in a battle, he'll do a pack with you, which will get you a new mode, Infinity Tower. But this guy is no easy pickings because he is level 100. And I win my goose, and I got my butt kicked because I completely forgot I had Jespon on and not Dante, so I am an idiot. Forgive me. Luckily, I didn't record myself when I got my butt kicked, so here's Dante winning that fight. Anyway, Infinity Tower is basically an endless mode. You're thrown hordes and hordes of harder and harder opponents to see how long you can last. It's a good place to farm some kills, which, just as a reminder, check to make sure you have kills on certain things if you're not seeing them spawn. That might be the reason why. Flymon is next, and he'll talk to you once you've beaten Venom Bombdemon. He wants you to get him 20 conductor lemons, which I'll show on screen a little bit later. Once you get conductor lemons for Flymon, he'll explain that he, like a bunch of other Digimon you've probably seen at this point, are differently colored because they have something called the leader factor. If you can extract leader essence from a Digimon, you can use it to form leader skills, which take the leader factor, take it out of the Digimon, and turn it into a little passive power for you to equip. You can have 3 leader skills up at a time, and these are going to come in handy once you get into harder dungeons. Also, if you have no idea where conductor lemons are, they can be found in the Palette Amazon if you interact with patches of grass, or on Mecha Plant when you interact with scrap data. Starmon is next, and he'll be spawning at Magma Mountain. When you talk to him, he'll explain to you that there are things called glitches that spawn in the digital world. These glitches aren't exactly real Digimon, so their types, attributes, and elements will all be completely randomized. If they come into contact with a wild Digimon, that Digimon will die. You can farm these glitches for some money if you turn them in, based on how dangerous they would be to the ecosystem, which I'm pretty sure is based on the level they spawn at, but I'm not too sure about it. Either way, once you talk to him, you'll be able to fight a glitch Gomamon, and he'll head to Server City. He has a quest for you, but again, you're gonna have to wait till the late game, so keep an eye out when the late game comes. This is gonna be important. This is the last bit of bonus content I got for this video, and this is going to be Gomamon. Gomamon is going to spawn in the Snowlands once you have collected a Digi-Sea Bass. This thing is exceptionally rare. It only spawns in Net Ocean and kind of follows the same rules as the other fish there, where they can just swim off screen, so you gotta really be paying attention and be extremely patient. I'll show what one looks like on screen, but once you do, Gomamon will come to Silver City where he'll offer a breeding program. If you turn in a Digi-Sea Bass, he'll breed it with more of its kind to try and increase the population, as they're slowly going extinct. I rarely use this because I rarely see Digi-Sea Bass, but I just thought it'd be cool to show you that I got this for this guide. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for waiting and being so patient for me and listening to my rambles of a mad woman. It did take a while. I did lose a precious member of my family recently, a little black cat named Ghost, who sadly died of cancer, and that, along with Finos, put this video on a lot of a back burner. But thank you all for being patient enough to see it through to the end, and yes, I will try my best to be on top of the late game video. But with classes coming up soon, I won't be surprised if I again have to delay it for a while. So as long as you guys are patient with me, and like the video. I'll keep working on these videos until I have nothing else to talk about. Again, thank you for watching, thank you for being patient, and I will see you in the late game guide.